Today I'm going to reveal my methods for how to write cool metal riffs. You see, over my lifetime as a metalhead, I've learned, played, and written thousands of riffs, whether it's covers or my guitar player shredding series. Or my original tracks by Kevin Zugschwert. Or my metal project by Two Bags of Blood.
Check those out.
I've lived and breathed heavy metal grooves. So today I'm going to show you my unique approach. I think it's unique to riff writing that hopefully will resonate with you, whether you're a guitarist or just a fan wondering, why does this riff make me want to punch the wall? It's all about the riff, baby. After looking at the analytics, there's a good possibility that you aren't subscribed. So smash that subscribe button and turn on the notifications so you don't miss more good stuff from me.
Okay.
So what makes a great metal riff? Let's break it down. Number 1, groove. Number 2, melody. Number 3, texture. Think about a classic like Inner Sandman. It's 2 notes, but the groove grabs you by the balls. Or a melodic masterpiece like Ozzy's Mr. Crowley. The melody sticks in your head forever, and I mean forever. Now some riffs hit the middle ground like Pantera's Primal Concrete Sledge. It's got groove and melody. That balance is key. How much groove versus melody you add is up to your style. Let's build a riff together. To show you, I'm just in standard tuning. But you can use any tuning, so let's start with a melody. You don't need a PhD in music theory, just mess around with random frets. For example, melody, let's take 7, 9, and 10 on the A string. So create the melody first using single notes, then add some chugs on the low string, and boom! Now space the notes by changing their rhythmic values to add groove. Once I've got a basic idea of a riff, I like to start with a 4-measure groove with a drum loop. Check this out. Alright, the next thing I do is I open up my Guitar Pro software. I'm using Guitar Pro 7.6 as you can see, but Guitar Pro 8 is available also with new features, so check that out. But if I open up a new file here, and I'm going to use an electric guitar with distortion, and I'm going to do tabs only to get started so I can see that visually easier, and then that pretty much covers it. Let's just create that. Let me make it a little bit larger. Alright, and there we go. Now if I tap this here, this is going to open up my note pane where I can select 8th notes, 16th notes, and so on. I'm going to select 8th notes, and we're at a tempo of 110 currently, which I may change that later, but I like to start with a kind of moderate tempo, and then if I want to increase it after I've written the riff, I'll do that. Alright, so then I want to open up this guitar fretboard right here at the top right. If you click that right there, that'll open up this fretboard, and it currently has a scale on it. I don't want that, I just want to have it blank. Alright, there we go. As 8th notes, even though the rhythm is different, I'm going to just select those here first. So this first note is actually a quarter note, so I'm going to change that. These two notes are palm muted. and so is this note here. So this bar is not needed at the moment. Let's get rid of that. Okay, so now I've got this lined up. Let's take a listen. Alright, you can see that's all matching up now with the recorded riff, so we're good to move on. Next, expand on it. Let's throw in power chords or experiment with higher voicings or octave adjustment for a different kind of vibe. But to keep it simple, I'm going to just add a power chord here to add on to what we've currently got. So let's do that on the 7th fret notes, and it'll sound like this. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and add that at the 9th fret on these for the power chord. And I'll do that on this fret here as well, on this chord. Alright, now let's take a listen to that. Excellent, it's sounding good so far. Okay, now let's layer in some guitar-specific techniques known as dynamics and articulations like slides, hammer-ons, pull-offs, bends, or harmonics. And I've got a couple of thoughts here for this, and one of which is this first palm-muted note. I'm going to do the octave adjustment as we discussed, and I'm going to make that at the 12th fret of this string here without a palm mute. And it's going to slide down and outward, which is this one, which is that one there. Then I'll still do the palm muted open E, and then let's add two more things. I'm going to add power chords to these two chords now. Power chords to these two notes, I mean. Alright, and I'm going to use the slide technique on those two. From this chord to this chord, I'm going to do a slide by entering that slide button right there. Okay, great. So that added some nice features. Let's take a listen to that. Alright, very cool. This riff's coming along nicely. Next, I'll record my updated riff. Riffs often rely on a motif, a repeating design or pattern with little variations to keep it fresh. For example, alright, now I'm going to go punch in my variations into the second measure here, and I'm going to start with 8th notes. The rhythm is 1 and 2, 3 and 4. So I'll make that note a quarter note and that note a quarter note. Alright, let's take a listen. Alright, that's great. So now I've got a 4-measure riff, really. I'm going to take this first measure and copy it, and I'm going to put it into measure 3. And then I'm doing a similar thing as measure 2 in measure 4, so I'm going to copy measure 2 and put it into measure 4, and then make the alterations that I need to make for this riff. It was slightly different. These 3 notes were the same, but then I changed it with a little variation right here. Alright, there we go. And I want to reline this up, so I'm going to tap this button here that opens up these blue triangles, and that'll allow me to add more measures to one line so that I can see it all on one line, and then I can stretch this out here, and then I'll just tap that off so that it won't be stretched after that. Alright, let's take it and listen to the whole track now. All right, sounds great so far. It's coming along just fine. All right, now I'm going to record my updated version of this riff. Are you into drop tuning? The same rules apply. Let's take that same idea and adapt it. A quick gear highlight before we dive into the rest of this. Let me introduce you to a game changer for metal guitarists, the Digitech Drop Tune Pedal. This pedal lets you instantly drop your tuning down by up to 7 semitones without touching your tuning pegs. It's perfect for heavy riffing without swapping guitars, especially when you want to experiment with lower tunings on the fly. Click the link in the description to grab one for yourself. It's a must-have for any modern metal player. Alright, if you're like me and you've got a locking nut on your guitar like this with a Floyd Rose bridge, these things are brutal to put into drop tunings, right? It takes a lot of work and resetting, and you got to mess with your string tension. So I just use this pedal here for all of my drop tunings, and I'm currently a half step down when it's on this number 1. And it's as simple as changing this to number 2 to be a whole step down now. So pretty cool, right? If I go down to number 4, for example, here. Very cool, right? We can go all the way down to an octave if we want to play bass. I'll just leave the distortion on for this example, but you might want to take it off. Very cool. Pick up one in the description in the link below and support my channel by clicking the affiliate link. For the low and heavy fans, drop A or 8-string guitars focus on slower groove-based riffs like this. The lower you go, the more space your riffs need to breathe. The real secret to heavy riffs? Here's the ultimate secret to a massive riff. It's not just the guitar, it's the drums. Watch this. Okay, I'm using Logic Pro for iPad here. Let's listen to what we currently have here. There's some more editing to do there, but you can see where this is going. If you create a cool drum track to go along with your guitar riffs, it makes it a lot fuller and bigger than just the guitar riff alone, of course. Another cool way that you can find some good drum loops and get your drum track a little bit fired up is by going through the loops that they have available. There's lots of different loops, and you can drop them right into the session player and then make your edits from there. So I'm going to try one of those and see if that improves the sound of this a little bit. So this one sounds pretty cool for my track. Let's just grab a hold of this and drop it in. And as you can see, it's longer than my 4 measures, so I'm just going to shorten that up. And let's take a look and see what that sounds like, or take a listen rather. Alright, that's pretty cool. I think I'm going to add some more kick drums into that. And I'm going to do that by editing this, converting the track into a MIDI region, and edit it from there. Yeah, they have the kick drum on the end of 1, and the end of 3, and the end of 4, which that's interesting. That means the snare drum's on the downbeat on every one of these. So that's pretty cool. Well, let's add in some stuff here with this. Alright, so what I've done is taken the first two measures and matched up the kick drum rhythmically with my guitar riff. And so the measure 3 and 4 are going to be identical as far as rhythmic goes, and we could add a fill and things like that, but just for the sake of time, I'm just going to copy and paste this here. So I'm going to select everything. So I'm going to select everything there on measures 1 and 2, and I'm going to select copy on that. And I'm going to go over here and select all of these on measures 3 and 4 to get rid of those. And then I'm going to put my timeline at 4 here and paste. One of the things that I do is I'll give myself an extra measure at the beginning of the track here. It's easier to record that way. It gives me time once I push record to kind of get my guitar lined up. I'll move everything over so that it starts right away on the final recording. Alright, let's take a listen to this and see how it sounds. Alright, pretty cool. Sounding good so far. So you see, the right drums transform a riff into a monster. Remember, riff writing is all about experimenting, so whether it's a simple chug fest or a technical shredder, if it moves you, it's a great riff. Want to level up your tone? Check out the gear links in the description to support the channel. And if this lesson helped, give it a like and drop a comment with your favorite riff. Now go write some riffs of your own and melt some faces. And I'll see you in the next video.
Watch where you're going, now you'll be next.